Hello, welcome to today's edition of Pegasus Test. On today's edition, we're covering Stage 5 of Desert Brutality 2019 math class. Stage 5 was held in 2 bays at SUPS, and the bay you started out in had a very unique obstacle. Best way to describe it is kind of like a lobster trap. Easy to get in, hard to get out of. If you want a good laugh, besides watching this video, check out the link below, watch my video from Red October on the Hungry stage, where that thing just destroyed me, opened up my head and everything. And, you know, this obstacle just hates me. And on this stage you had 3 numbers to pick from, 2, 3, or 5. You had to flip one over when the buzzer went off, and then you had a series of targets downrange, and you had to shoot the targets that were divisible by the number you picked. In my case, I picked 5. Any other target became a no-shoot. And you had an array of targets in the first bay and an array of targets in the second bay. In the first bay you engaged with your rifle, second bay you engaged with your pistol. After you flipped over your number and found out what you had to retrieve a mock-up of a Browning 1917 water-cooled machine gun and then dive into the lobster trap obstacle. I imagine in real life you really wouldn't be throwing your machine gun around, but for the purposes of the match, it was what you had to do to get it through the obstacle. Going through this obstacle, my rifle took a nosedive into the ground, and I earned myself the title of the shovel because I filled that sucker full of dirt. Even the barrel was full. It was hilarious. And then as I was halfway through the obstacle, actually 2/3 of the way through, I threw the mock-up machine gun to get it out of the conduit at the end of the trap, and it just wedged in there vertically. You don't see it, unfortunately, because on that run my GoPro was not working, but it was wedged perfectly vertical, blocking the tunnel, and it was in there good. I let out a rather loud expletive, and was awarded with the best use of expletive on a stage award by the squad. Anyhow, I managed to clear the blockage, get out, and get over to the shooting position, which was under a roof-type incline that you had to put the machine gun in and then engage your rifle targets based on the number that you had drawn at the beginning of the stage. It was at that point where it became apparent my muzzle was completely obstructed and that I needed to call it, and that's what I told the RRO I was calling it. Luckily, due to the rules of Desert Brutality, you are allowed a mulligan. So they called over, the stage ROs called over the main RO. He agreed that, yeah, it was a stoppage that could not be remediated on the clock, and I was allowed to have a mulligan. Check out the video for my aborted first run, and then we'll come back and go over my second run.
You ready? Yep. Stand by! Ooh, the water looks up. Hey, the gun did a nosedive just like he did.
The gun's gonna have a couple of scars on it.
Oh, fuck!
Quote!
Push, damn you!
That's what she said.
Yes, it is. Clear out your muzzle. Check your muzzle. You shovel? Yeah. Got it, got it. Number is 5. Hey, clear out your muzzle. I'm not getting there. That's not right.
It's not safe from calling.
Okay, yeah.
So, with the help of another competitor, we cleared out my bore. It was pretty full. It's an amazing amount of dirt that you can cram up a flash suppressor in the barrel of a 20-inch AR. It was pretty amazing how much stuff came out and how long it took to get it out. But I cleared the rifle, showed the ROs. The ROs agreed it was clear. At the RO's request, we went to another unused bay, did a quick test fire to prove that the rifle was in fact functioning, and then I was allowed to get back into the rotation. I'd like to thank the ROs for being pretty generous in that respect, because they were willing to throw me back in, and I didn't want to mess up the order, because I know people were kind of getting psyched about, you know, and getting mentally prepared. And I just said, no, rotate me to the end and I'll just wait my turn. And that's what everybody did, and it worked out really good. Now in the first bay, you had to go through the lobster trap, which you'll see, it wasn't good for me. And then you went under a house type structure. You brought the machine gun into it, you got in position, you engaged your 5 targets, because no matter what number you drew, you had 5 targets you had to engage. From there, you retrieved your machine gun, dashed over to the second bay, put it in the trunk of a pre-staged car, and then you had to enter the passenger side of the vehicle, NASCAR style, by crawling through the window, which, with flak jacket, 782 gear, that was interesting to say the least, but I got in. Once inside the car, then you could engage, and they made it a little tough on you, more than just doing math. If you've got target 105 was one of your targets you had to engage, it was by the angle of the passenger seat, directly in target 104. You had to be very careful with your shot placement. Now, I did take a penalty on that target, because from my angle I figured, okay, I'll favor heavy right, take the right side of the target, I'll miss doing the shoot through on target 104 behind it, and I'll be okay. Well, I got one round that way, and the other round missed the target. Should have taken the time, taken a makeup shot, didn't realize it, thought I had it. Now here you have my actual run, and drew a 5 again, which is good, and won the easy math, even though it made for a little bit more complex shooting solution in the second bay. Got the machine gun through the lobster trap a whole lot easier. You'll notice I'm very much favoring my rifle. I had taped the muzzle. I did everything I could to keep the dirt out, mainly because I knew I wasn't going to get another mulligan, and 2, didn't want to obviously blow my rifle up, because that would be detrimental to completing the match. When you see me come out of that tunnel, I'm smoked. The previous stage was the Casarda drill, which we'll cover later in the series. The bronchitis was just in full swing. You see me mustering all the energy I can basically get. It's pretty slow. I'm moving like pond water, I totally admit it. But, you know, it was still a fun stage. So I get myself over to the little rooftop house thing, go in there, engage those targets, shot them clean, didn't hit any no-shoots, then retrieved the machine gun, moved over to the other bay, threw it in my rifle in the trunk, and then got myself wedged through the window. You'll see it knocks my cover off and everything. And this is where the flak jacket worked against me, because your average GI issue flak jacket from the 80s, 90s is a lot wider and has a little more restrictive in what your movements that you have compared to, say, more traditional body armor that's in use today. So when I got in my first shot that I took at the 105 target, I was able to get a good two-handed grip. When I shifted over to the others, I couldn't get my arm over, so I just used it for stability, took all the shots one-handed, and lo and behold, made it. So this was a good, challenging stage. I wish I'd been feeling better. I think I would have scored a better time. Going through the car window was challenging. I got the sympathy for the fellas that are bigger and the guys who had the full body armor on, because that was just a killer for them. That was showstopper. But, you know, that's one of the things of why they call it desert brutality. They're going to throw something at you that you're just not expecting, like math. Because I learned I'm not the only one that has trouble with math.
Be ready! Sure, why not? Stand by! Yes! I told you I gave you the 5!
Motherfucker!
King Kong that bad boy all the way up. All the way up the far side.
Tough love, all the way up. There you go! Winnie! Hey, made it through without making a shovel. Yep.
I would. Okay. Got a 5.
Going for 5.
it. All cleared, let's go.
Watch that muzzle.
Good. Looking good. Going for the fives. If you are finished, unload, show clear. If clear, hammer down. Yes, and hand it to me. Come on out, let's holster this. It reminded me of Saving Private Ryan, with Tom Hanks at the end shooting at that airplane.
In this next section, my teammate Matt is doing his run. You're going to see a pretty good run here. He's feeling way better than I was during this. He's running a AR pistol with a short barrel, which really comes in handy in this stage. And also, he gets the revenge of the lobster trap too, because you'll see at one point he chucks the good chuck on that machine gun, which hits the tunnel and just bounces right back to his feet. But other than that, he had a pretty successful quick run. His minimalist rig worked really good going into the car, so take a look.
Let me know.
Are you ready? Stand by. 5.
That didn't even go
5.
I poured lemon.
So you flipped it.
You guys are ballsy putting your gun in there and throwing
Right?
it at me and then running over the gun.
You wouldn't see me doing that, but I like my rifle.
I was watching the muzzle on that one. It's fine. Oh,
Epic fail.
no, it was good. One more time though. All the way out. Yes!
Nice.
That was a fun one.
All right.
The only time you gotta be poured.
I did all of you. Yeah.
So like with this, like I just pick it up one hand.
Where am I?
What do you need to carry?
Shooting fives.
Clear, get out.
Probably not going fast enough. Come on, go, man, go!
Close, gang.
Yeah, it's finished unload, show clear.
We hope you're enjoying our coverage of Desert Brutality 2019. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and tune in tomorrow for Stage 6 for I'll Bomb Tokyo Myself.